The year was 2023, and the thrill of Black Friday was in the air. Susan, a bargain-hunting enthusiast, scoured the internet for the best deals. In her pursuit of a great discount, she stumbled upon a mysterious Craigslist ad promising unbeatable prices on the latest electronics. The listing was simple, yet enticing. Black Friday blowout, unbelievable deals on TVs, laptops, and more limited stock, act fast. Susan hesitated for a moment, her excitement warring with caution. The ad lacked details about the seller, location, or even a contact number. Still, the promise of unheard-of discounts was too tempting to resist. Determined to unveil the secret behind this extraordinary deal, Susan sent a message to the anonymous seller. Within minutes, she received a cryptic reply. "Meet me at the abandoned warehouse on Elm Street at midnight. Bring cash and come alone." The hairs on the back of Susan's neck stood on end, but curiosity got the better of her. As midnight approached, Susan found herself standing in front of the desolate warehouse, the only sound the distant howling of the wind. The flickering streetlights cast eerie shadows that danced across the cracked pavement. She clutched a wad of cash in her trembling hands, nerves tingling with a mix of excitement and fear. The creaking door of the warehouse echoed in the silence as Susan cautiously stepped inside. The dimly lit space was filled with towering stacks of cardboard boxes, each one promising the latest gadgets at unbeatable prices. The seller, a shadowy figure obscured by the darkness, beckoned her closer. "Welcome, Susan," a low voice murmured, sending shivers down her spine. "I have what you seek. Follow me." As they navigated through the labyrinth of boxes, the air grew thicker with an ominous energy. Susan's heart pounded in her chest as she glimpsed strange symbols painted on the walls, their meaning eluding her. The seller led her to a secluded corner where a mysterious black curtain hung, concealing a hidden chamber. With a dramatic flourish, the seller revealed a collection of high-end electronics, gleaming in the dim light. Susan's eyes widened at the sight of the gadgets, each priced far lower than she could have imagined. The temptation overwhelmed her caution, and she handed over the cash. As Susan exited the warehouse with her newfound treasures, a chill ran down her spine. The night seemed darker, more foreboding. Ignoring the unsettling feeling, she hurried home, eager to revel in the spoils of her late-night adventure. Little did Susan know, the true horror of her Black Friday deal was about to unfold. The following days were a blur for Susan as she reveled in her Black Friday haul. The sleek electronics adorned her living room, a constant reminder of the inexplicable deal she had stumbled upon. However, as she immersed herself in the glow of her new gadgets, an unsettling realization crept into her consciousness. Strange occurrences began to unfold within the confines of her once cozy home. The TV, purchased at an unbelievable discount, emitted eerie whispers in the dead of night, its screen flickering with phantom images that left Susan questioning her sanity. The laptop, a beacon of technological prowess, seemed to have a mind of its own, opening files she had never seen before, displaying cryptic messages that sent shivers down her spine. Haunted by an unshakable feeling of dread, Susan sought solace in the anonymity of the internet. Late one night, she stumbled upon a forum discussing the very Craigslist ad that had led her into this web of uncertainty. User after user recounted similar experiences, bargains that turned into nightmares, electronics that seemed to harbor a malevolent force. Determined to unravel the mystery, Susan delved into the dark history of the warehouse on Elm Street. These sinister symbols adorning its walls were linked to an ancient occult ritual, and whispers of a malevolent presence echoed through the annals of local folklore. The warehouse, it seemed, was a conduit for something far more sinister than mere commerce. As Susan dug deeper, the line between the digital and physical realms blurred, her inbox filled with anonymous messages warning her to cease her investigation, ominous threats that chilled her to the bone. Yet, fueled by a mix of terror and curiosity, she pressed on. One fateful night, as Susan sat in front of her computer, the screen flickered to life, revealing a live stream from the very warehouse that had birthed her electronic nightmare. The darkened space was illuminated by the glow of candles, casting eerie shadows that danced on the walls. The figure of the anonymous seller emerged, surrounded by hooded figures engaging in a ritualistic dance. As Susan watched in horror, the figure spoke directly to her through the screen. "You've delved too deep, Susan. The bargain you sought came at a price. The darkness has been unleashed, and it will consume all who dare to seek its secrets." The room around Susan seemed to close in as a chilling wind swept through her living room. The once sleek electronics now pulsated with an otherworldly energy. Desperation set in as Susan realized she had unwittingly become a pawn in a supernatural game. In a final act of desperation, she sought the help of those who had shared her haunting experience online. Together, they unraveled the ancient ritual, discovering the only way to break the curse was to return the electronics to the warehouse on Elm Street. As the group ventured into the warehouse, the air grew thick with malevolence. The hooded figures emerged from the shadows, their chanting growing louder. With each step, Susan felt the weight of the darkness bearing down on her. The group reached the hidden chamber, and as they returned the cursed electronics, the symbols on the walls glowed with an unholy light. In an instant, the ritual was complete. The darkness that had plagued Susan and the others receded, leaving the warehouse in an oppressive silence. As dawn broke, the hooded figures vanished, leaving no trace of the supernatural event that had unfolded. The warehouse on Elm Street returned to its desolate state, a mere shell of the malevolence that had briefly claimed it. Susan and the survivors, forever changed by their brush with the unknown, parted ways, haunted by the knowledge that some secrets are better left undiscovered. And so, the Craigslist Black Friday horror tale came to an end, a cautionary tale for those who dared to seek unimaginable bargains in the darkest corners of the internet.